Alright, timestamp. Where are we? February 21st, 2026. 1:15 p.m. Been up for a couple hours. I actually went to bed at like 1 a.m. and slept until about 10. Actually got a lot of sleep, which been a while. I never quite feel rested. I know that's probably the stress and everything. Don't judge me, the floor needs to be swept. Am I getting him? It would seem I have earned his trust. I have a three-legged cat sleeping under my stool. He's quite content. The house is very alive on a Saturday afternoon. Not sure what's happening there. Quick debriefing. Got a fair amount done yesterday. Chopped off the top of... My dad had constructed a... I'll show you here in a minute. Working on just not killed off a pot. I had help of the Harry and David Vanilla Cream Brulee. Show you one of the new mugs that just came in. It's got the same image on the back. So I think 15 ounce. It's a taller mug, but it's a lot like the Marvin one was the first one that I got of this, and I had thought that maybe it was just, they did a Marvin one, but again, a little congested. Normal day, right? Then I found that there were other characters, so I forget if they came in. I think Tweety came in. I think I'm still waiting for Sam, but I was feeling like a snarky tri-state kid on a roller coaster this morning, so I was like, yeah, I'll do that one. Love it. I wish I'd been able to go to Six Flags, but you got Looney Tunes and the amusement park roller coaster on one mug. I'm in. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go on a walk. Make sure I plant my feet as to not step on adorable orange cat. Fried up a whole bunch of hot dogs and sausages last night so that we'd have like free grazing for the weekend. Oh, somebody's been modifying it. Thanks, Queenie. I know it was you. Got these big old foam sheets, which, from a crafting standpoint, not sure what we're going to do with them yet, but I'm sure we'll do something with them. Alright, I'm just going to go under them. I'm sure Queenie knocked those down from where I had them, because why wouldn't she? Okay, so there was a shelf here going across. Now with the garage door, you could put something about 6 inches tall on that shelf without it being in the way. Just kind of, I don't know what he was thinking when he did it. But, dementia. Maybe 12 inches, maybe. Kind of pointless, in my opinion. But I figured this would probably make a very good storage for the pink totes that I'm using. I can go 3 high, 5 wide, and on the bottom shelf I can go 2 high, 5 wide, and this will help me store my pink totes as I'm starting to amass my crafting and toys and stuff. Some of those are boxes for Pixie. She just doesn't know that they're here. Like there's 3 over there that are marked with a K. Those are like all Monster High things, some of the vehicles and stuff that I picked up. And I'm probably going to use an empty one to store the Jeep project that I'm working on. That would be smart, right? Just thought of that. That'd be real smart. Because I've got another 20 pink totes not used yet. But this will help because I've still got 3 plus 8. That's 11. I've still got placement for 11 totes, which will allow me to move some things out of the dining room. So I got to deal with this debris field in front of it, and then start trying to go through the rest, heading that way. Let's see, it faces south, so that would be south, east. Wagons east. Yeah. More. Hey Pam, I'm gonna use the word. More Mashivana over here. That's definitely some Queenie action there. Thank you so much for doing that. And then I got the brown shelves going down the wall, which is mostly going to be gear that we're actually utilizing or that we are considering utilizing, but it'll be accessible. And the pink tote rolling cart thingy I can actually position, basically make it parallel with the garage door, which will give us a little bit of a dance floor here in the middle, which is a nice problem to have because see, here's the big issue with this place. Hi. Oh God. Good morning, Hax. You all right, bud? You okay? No. Look at those front paws. Look at those things. Look at those things. Garden of food? Yeah. Okay. That would be the Hexadoodle, my 7-toed tuxedo. That would be Sir Scrappy A. Cornelius. Primarily referred to as Scrappy or Acorn, who's now going to groom Janus, who has gotten up and done a big stretch. Oh, my part of the zoo. All right, so the house itself is just under 1,400 square feet, plus a 2-car, 2.5 garage. I'm not sure. I know it's at least a 2. It might be considered a 2.5-car garage. There's the lanai, which is 15 or 20 by 40 or 50. And then there's the alcove hallway thingy that my dad built, which is 5 feet wide, 40 feet long, with a weird L-shaped 10 by 12 pocket room. And then the workshop, which my parents would refer to this room over here as the garage, and also the outdoor building as the garage. And Pix and I, at least in our own internal workings, put a stop to that because it's just redundant and stupid. Because when you say, oh, it's in the garage, well, you've got two different places you're referring to as the garage. Well, it's in the garage. Which one? The one over here. That doesn't help, you know. So we're the ones that actually started calling the outdoor garage the workshop, because two different rooms use different words. Just a minor grievance, you know, but it's like, come on, people. You can't have a reasonable conversation because you can't, you need a glossary. So the workshop is probably the equivalent of a 3-car or maybe a 4-car garage. It has a roll-up door that's about 1.5 car width-ish. Now, for your consideration, tonight's story, it was all full of stuff. Everything that I just described has stuff, debris, waist high, nipple high, over your head. But a big part of it is the areas that are waist high. You don't need to claw that, Mr. Doodle. Thank you. They don't need to be waist high. It's just like stuff was thrown, like just bleh, because not good decisions being made. So part of the process here is going through everything, trying to figure out what's garbage, because there's a lot of stuff that just needs to be thrown away. And we have to kind of sift through it, you know, like panning, you know, river panning over here, because there's valuable and important stuff that has either been misplaced or hidden by my dad because of the paranoia that goes along with dementia. So we're having to be painstakingly slow on this. And we've thrown away some things that were valuable that had been destroyed because they were stored in places where moisture and mold and things like that. You know, old books, movie posters from the 70s and 80s that, if they had been kept nice, would have been, you know, $200-300 items on eBay easily. You know what I mean? Like original Rocky posters, Stallone, 76. They're original, like, United Artists, like theater posters, the kind that would be outside with the lighted, you know, but they were left in the rain. I'm not going to get a buck for that. Nobody is. You know, in good shape, a collector would have paid you $100 for that pretty easily. It's not a reproduction, it's an original. It's totaled. You know what I mean? And as someone who used to run a hobby shop, it's like, you know, I'm seeing, you know, hardcover books from the like late 1800s and early 1900s. Destroyed, powdered, moldy. And it's like, I don't know that anyone's going to pay you anything for this. If it had been taken care of, you know, even if it's a topic that most people aren't going to care about, it's still, you know, a first edition book from 1884. But they didn't take care of things that actually had value. But I got plates. And I got glassware. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're doing right now, is going through everything and boxing it up, labeling it, and throwing away the junk. And square footage wise, There's a lot. There's a lot. So that's my day. I'm just riding a roller coaster. Oh man, that's good coffee. But did a huge amount of hard-boiled eggs yesterday. Fried up the sausages and hot dogs. There's like 20 in there. Got some chicken strips marinating in orange sauce with back twinge. Not marinating in that. Ginger, garlic, and a little bit of nutmeg. And in a bit, I'm going to pull that out, put it in a pan, and then I'm going to chop up a whole bunch. I got 2 3-pound bags of sweet potatoes over there, plus a little bit left from a third bag. I'm not doing all of it, but I'll probably do about 4 pounds, maybe 5 pounds of sweet potatoes. Chop them up into some nice big wedges or chunks, whatnot. Pull the chicken out, pan it, and then put the sweet potato pieces in there, shake it up, put it in the pan with the chicken. Might even need 2 pans, which, that's rough. The 3-pound bags of sweet potatoes at Aldi were $1.99. Not bad. And having experimented with this last week, the sweet potatoes in the orange sauce, really good. Really good. And I figured it would be. But sometimes you don't know until you throw it in the oven, and let's see what happens. But yeah, ginger, a little garlic, a little nutmeg. Yeah. Like Peter Boyle after an afternoon with Madeline Kahn. So, and I've got probably 2 pounds of chicken, like little smaller bits and whatnot from when I trimmed out and made the strips. And Tiny was letting me know that the barbecue chicken that I made last week was really, really great, especially with the red onions. So I made you that as a barbecue bake. Do some onions, some regular potato, maybe some green pepper in there too. Just bake that as one big platter. And I've still got those 3 chicken drumsticks that I need to boil down and do the cream of mushroom chicken soup over rice. But I'll probably do that during the week. I got chicken marinating and whatnot right now. I need to make that my focus because, it can spoil if I don't take action. So, priorities. And I have to make another pot of coffee too. God, what a hardship. I don't know, I still feel like I'm going to get that phone call. I still have that anxiety going on as far as my dad. That's not going to go away until it goes away. But I'm just feeling pretty, yeah, I'm okay. Anxiety? Yeah. But trying to get my focus redirected. The sausage fry, I did that last night. Sending out my dad's rent check, which is weird. I'm sending out a check to pay for my dad's rent. It's a weird role reversal kind of thing going on. Still kind of, months and months later, it's still weird, the idea that I'm my dad's guardian. Running into some hurdles here and there with some of the other organizations that I'm dealing with. Not anything bad, just the whole, you have to prove what you're saying. It's like, well, I've got death certificate for my mom, I've got short form and long form, depending on which one you want to see. The only difference there, learned this months ago, but just to share it, the short form is basically just, this person died. The long form has more, this person died, this is why, this is where. It like goes into some of the specifics. And I think that's mostly necessary if there's like insurance-y things. If a place, because I know, not running into that situation, but I know from just, osmosis, hearing over the years, that some places like insurance policies won't cover if they did it to themselves, kind of thing, like, self-inflicted, whatnot. And if it was, a homicide or something like that, there might be some questions here and there, and that might change the conditions of payouts or what have you. So there are some places that will say I need the long form because we need to verify cause of death and all that. I haven't run into that with anybody yet, but I do have a couple on hand in case someone actually does want to see that. I can send that out. This is a slow process. My mom passed in May of last year, May 8th, and I'm still trudging through the swamp of documentation and bureaucracy. I'm still getting junk mail in her name too, which I expect will probably happen, till the end of time, because once your name's on a list, it kind of doesn't go away. Sorry, thinking about some of the political ramifications of what I just said. Once your name's on a list. Yeah. Oh. Some of those people are monsters and they just need to be put away for the rest of their lives. But, hey, it's just my own personal thought. You're diddling kids and whatnot. Man, I have no room for you in my society. You know what I mean? No, there's no excuse for any of that. Because you are rich and powerful, you feel it's your right to be able to do that. It's kind of the way I see it. No, ultimate entitlement there. Oh my God, I'm allowed to do that. Have you seen my bank account? Yeah, I don't care. You can't hurt kids. We need to have some rules in society. Even if it's only a couple, I'm sure that would make the list of rules. Hurting children. It's got to be in the top 3. I don't know. It's just my thought. I think that's, as far as the despicable action thing, it's got to be pretty high up there. Kicking the beggar woman in the face, also, frowned upon. Not okay. I'm going to have to redo my list again. I've crossed a lot of things off, which is a great problem to have. I'm getting there. 1 brick, right? 1 brick. Yeah, that had to have been Queenie that knocked those phones down. Because they were kind of across stuff, and she likes to climb and make messes for me. There's quite a few things that I found on the floor out there. And it's usually, I know Hex will get up on like a lower shelf and find a nice cave to hang out in, but he's not really a mountaineer. Queenie, she is the cat that will get onto the top of the door and look at you as you pass through the doorway. She is that cat. So, yeah, no. And as I was prepping to chop off that top shelf, she was actually on top of some of the debris on the far side of the top shelf and freaked out when she saw me. Mind you, I was holding a saw, so that might have been part of the freak out, but I don't really think she did the math on that. I think it was just kind of a, oh no, you're here. It's like, you're an idiot, whatever. By the way, if you stay on the shelf, it could get real funny real quick. She did not stay on the shelf. And I didn't start cutting while she was up there. But yeah, with the shelf in place, number 1, the top shelf was useless for storage. Then again, I don't know really why my dad did the height the way that he did, because the top shelf was useless as a shelf. And you could say it was a stabilizing force, but he made it to be a shelf, not just like a brace. We are going to repurpose the shelf itself, though, as like a platform for the lanai, because we can keep some things off the ground in case there's moisture, whatnot. So it will live again in a different way. But with it in place, I couldn't go up 3 totes. I could go up 2 totes and not quite a third. Like half of a third, which I could use that for other storage, but it's just easier to take the shelf out and go 3 high. Better space management for what I'm trying to do. No, and I need to get, this kind of disappointed me, I need to get some large felt. I found a place on Amazon that has some for the Jeep canopy stuff that I want to do. This bummed me out a little bit. So I got in my felt that was on order and on order and on order. It was just really slow and all that. And I was thinking, when it gets here, that's going to solve my problems. I can make the canopy for the Jeep. And it came in. They didn't do measurements. They didn't have measurements in the description. And they didn't have measurements in the pictures. They just showed these like fanned out. Mind you, I have big hands, but I don't have 8.5 by 11 hands. These are 4 by 6 maybe? Hmm. 4 by 6. I was expecting like full paper-sized sheets. They'll still be useful, and I guess it's my own fault for not asking questions, but nice color palette, but a little smaller than I was expecting. And this would work for some of the pieces, but I want to say the larger piece needs to be longer. So, kind of bummed there. Not what I was expecting. So I got to go back to the well and get some larger sheets to be able to work on that part of the Jeep. I think I'm going to use a tote to put the Jeep and vehicle components in while I'm working on that. I can get it out of the dining room and also out of visibility, because I am kind of trying to work on that stuff in secret. I'm going to be able to surprise my girl. Hopefully she doesn't think it's stupid. Hopefully I can do a good enough job to where she's going to be like, oh, that's really cool, I'm optimistic. I know that I'm good. I know that I'm good at crafting. I know that I'm good at what I do. I just hope she's not like underwhelmed, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to be starting out with the Rebecca steam Jeep. We're going to do a steampunk Jeep, modifying a Barbie Jeep. Catch you up on what I'm talking about. And I've got one, I think, for Abby Abominable, and I'm supposed to have one for Twyla. I sent them a note yesterday, day before, because I bought one 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't seen a tracking number appear, so I'm kind of... Are you going to send it? I'm pretty reasonable. I'm easygoing, but you forget about that? It's been 2 weeks. Do you want to drop that in the mail? Or... if you want to cancel it and refund me, I can go back to the well. I got enough projects to work on. I don't necessarily need another one, but kind of had some ideas for it. At least having found that and looked at it, with the pictures and the listing, I've got a better idea. I know what model it is because there have been like 6,000 Barbie Jeeps and vehicles over the years. So I can actually put in the keywords from that one. I forget, it was like a 2009, whatever. But I can put in keywords and actually try and find another one of that because I do have ideas that would work as far as doing that for Twyla. But I did pay for that one. If you want to ship it out, that'd be swell. Anything you want to. But yeah. I'm going to be attempting to excavate the area in front of that, the giant cart that I have the pink totes on, try and get that stuff figured out, get it pushed onto the lanai. Tiny's been organizing and digging through that, and we're each working a different part of the slide puzzle, but making good progress. So, that's a huge problem with the lanai is there's a huge amount of space there. It's not being used well. And luckily, with years of warehouse management experience in my background, I have a better idea how to make that work. And from a, apples to apples juxtaposition standpoint, I'm also not an 80-year-old guy with dementia, who thinks a burglar is breaking in every day. So I might make some better decisions in general. I'm hoping. I do bring my own particular madness to the table, but, mine is much more fun and much less burning locks off of doors kind of madness. Really? If you had told me 10 years ago. I can't even, Pam. I'm going to enjoy my coffee just for you, Pam. Or Kathy. Fun size. How you doing? Definitely make another pot, too. Makes it all okay. Well, not really, but it helps. It helps a little bit. Yeah, we're getting there. Definitely walking through the swamp. You ever walk through a swamp? Walked through a swamp, foot goes in, a foot and a half into, we'll call it mud, and you pull your foot out and it's heavy and you hear the suction vacuum of the mud wanting to keep your boot or your shoe. If you're wearing shoes, it's keeping it. If you're wearing boots, you got pretty good odds. I have walked through a swamp or 2 or 6. That's this place. Without the shoe losing part. Although, if you're not watching, I don't think I have anything coming in today. Actually, no, I do, don't I? I think I have a mug coming in. The slow day. Been getting a barrage of all my packages the past week, which is cool, but holy cats. It's like my mom in the Home Shopping Network. When that channel first hit many years ago, I know I'm not the only kid in town whose mom went berserk. Cubic zirconia. Everybody wants it. Right? Nailed it, Gus. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Acorn, your dorsal fin is up. It broke water. I don't know what he's doing. He's been out like 3 times in the past 2 hours. He's starting to do the pacing thing. Would you have a big gulp? A couple of Slurpees? What's going on? Uh-oh, I made eye contact. What are you doing, goofball? I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and call it there. I'm going to make another pot of coffee because it's dead, Jim. I'm going to consider getting therapy for my dog. He's just pacing. Timmy trapped in a well? What's going on, bud? He is. He's just pacing. Like walking from the dining room to the kitchen, back to the kitchen, to the door, to the dining room. I don't know what's going on. Aliens? What? So, hug your parents till it hurts them. Hug your kids till it hurts them. I'm kidding. No, seriously, hug your parents, hug your kids. You don't know how much time you got, you know. You don't. Get your dog the therapy he needs. Look for the signs. Be ready to do intervention. He's feeling self-conscious now. Make it a great day.